Hello. Welcome to LadyGang Quickie. I'm back here with Jack and
Sorry, I
Kelty.
didn't mean to clap.
That was a very
excited
It was
about
either
this.
delayed or too early.
It was something. It was something.
Sorry, I had
she had a Celsius.
I had a mango passion fruit Celsius, and I'm now. Celsius gives me anxiety, but like in the best way.
Zach was hooked on Celsius for a while, and then he was like, I think I need to cool it with the Celsius.
Yeah.
You're chugging that. She's chugging.
Sometimes I have one on the way to work.
Are you going to I mean, it's
noticed
late in the day for that.
I've noticed you chug coffee too. Like you chug coffee. It's crazy.
I don't do anything. Have you?
No.
Do I seem like a sip
I don't
kind of
feel
girl?
like you chug tea.
Because it's
Too hot?
Hot.
No,
But I just remember, like, I have flashbacks from when we were on tour and Kelty gets like the massive Dunkin' one, and you're just like guzzling it down.
I've never eaten slowly, and it's like I'm on a deserted island, and it's my last.
I am the
treat.
world's fastest eater, and now with a child, it's like I could win a contest.
It's actually crazy because we just had lunch upstairs, and Derek, my new assistant, was there, and like the three of us were like, and we're like, hey, back to work, and Derek's like just mixing his salad.
Yeah, because he's a normal
and
person.
I was like, oh no, you're gonna have to get on the Kelty schedule. It's actually been really funny for him to
shit to
learn
do.
my life.
You should learn from him.
No.
Yeah,
to
take some
slow down.
pointers.
You're supposed to slow down on your meals. I think
know.
it's not good.
Yeah, you're supposed to eat slowly.
It's not good.
But,
You guys, I was in tears preparing this episode. So
Nervous.
I was
I am
with
too.
one of the young girls that works at E with me. And I was like, I really want something fun to do for LadyGang. Something we talked about when you were in dating life. But now that you've been married life, we haven't done like dating disasters.
Okay.
And she was like, you need to do hinge horror stories because let me tell you, it's brutal out there.
Oh, no.
So I
God.
posted in our Facebook group, and I do want to tell everyone listening, you may be a new listener. We have an amazing Facebook group on Facebook. We'll link it this week on Instagram if you want. If you want to join, you just have to answer and like say who your favorite host is. It's Kelty. And then we'll let you join in. But it is crazy in there. It's so fun, and things have been going so well. So I posted, post your hinge horror stories. The stories that we got are so fucking crazy.
yes.
And I begin. Actually, you know what? Would you guys mind doing an
reading?
invitational reading?
Sure.
I'll pass this around.
Yeah.
Sure.
Okay. I will actually want you to start, Becca, because the first one is so epic. It needs to go in like your acting voice.
Okay, ready?
Yeah. And say who it's from.
This is from Aaron. The first date I ever went on after my divorce was with a guy from Match who seemed nice. I knew he was fairly health conscious, but when we got to the Starbucks and sat down with coffee, all he wanted to talk about was yogurt. Kinds of yogurt, flavors of yogurt, brands of yogurt, places to get your yogurt.
Oh my God.
It was honestly a good hour of yogurt and awkward pauses. There was no second date. It's like
Yogurt.
It's like shrimp. What's his name from
Bubba Gump?
Yeah. Fried shrimp, boiled
Boiled
shrimp.
Happy
Wait,
shrimp.
a yogurt obsession.
I'm like, well, I love a healthy bacteria. So I'm like,
I actually do love a yogurt, so he could have got me for the first 5
He
minutes.
probably would have.
Yeah.
5 minutes tops. And then you would have been like, okay.
I just think it's such a weird thing. And then you're like, you go home and your friend's like, bro, how's your date? And he goes, did you talk about? And he goes, yogurt. And he just walks to his room in shame.
Aaron, I'd like to know what his top picks of yogurt
Yeah,
are.
you didn't
because
even
that is a
I
very
know.
saturated
Market.
refrigerator in the grocery store.
Yeah.
And it's tough because there's
Right.
so many options.
I know.
I can tell you what you don't want.
What?
And they'll never sponsor us. But you know what you don't want is the yogurt that comes in 2 little clumpies and then they're like, mix it together. There's never enough yogurt. It's 2 spoonfuls. You know, where it's like, put the trail mix and the yogurt.
see,
it's
I like those.
Oh, it's
The
called
flip.
a
The
squishy
They're
flip.
delicious.
Oh, they are?
Yeah, they make your own little parfait.
Doesn't
Yeah,
seem,
those are
And I
good.
love a parfait, so this is weird for me.
I know.
It is.
I love those.
I'd like
a
to
little
choose
Greek
a
yogurt.
shitty airport parfait instead of like this nice flip. Okay, Jack.
When I
Okay.
think about you and food, it's
think about a parfait.
It's like
I haven't had a
it's like an airport parfait.
Yeah.
I haven't had a parfait in so long since I've been working with a nutritionist. Like I
Yeah.
just don't go for that anymore.
Well, it's a
Yeah.
sugar bomb.
Yes, I feel so shitty, but I do love yogurt, and
Yeah,
I'll have a
so
yogurt,
good.
but I'm doing it with like different toppings,
Yeah.
and not in the airport. I miss you, parfait, but parlay parfait.
All right, next one comes from Suzanne. She says, I met a guy on Match back in the day. He invited me to an open mic night, and he was not great. Oh, his open mic night.
Oh, like a
Yikes.
stand-up.
We were having drinks after, and he asked if I wanted to go have sex in his car, which
Ew.
was a Ford Focus, because he lived at home with his dad and he couldn't sneak me over. So she has to
No.
go back home to his dad's house to have sex in his Ford Focus.
Isn't a Ford Focus small?
I don't know. She said, I was so
Isn't it
flabbergasted.
like a hatchback? That's like seems really hard to have sex in. Hold on.
I was so flabbergasted after that. I left and sat at a blinking yellow light thinking it was a stoplight. We did not hook up and there was not a second date. So she was literally like,
Oh no,
so
it's a small
traumatized.
sedan. Sorry.
It's a small sedan.
She was so traumatized that she was stunned at the yellow light.
I have done that.
Me too.
I have
I have
done
too.
that before. Not had sex in a Ford Focus or been asked, but I have been, you know, when you're so deep in thought or so deeply disturbed or something so crazy had just happened to you that you're in the car and you're like doing something
go
like
into the
stopped
twilight
at it.
zone.
You're in the
Yeah.
twilight zone.
Well, it's like you're already on like autopilot anyways, and then it just like really takes over, and then you kind of
It's
lost time.
wild. The amount of things like your open mic, sex in a car, and like, how does someone ask, do you want to go have sex in the car? I guess
I mean,
that's
it's like
are you-
sexy when you're like younger.
when's the last time you had sex in a car?
When I was with my ex.
Okay.
Ew.
Ooh, that's pretty like not recent, but like not as long ago as it should have been. How about you?
I don't know. I honestly don't know if I've had sex in a car.
You don't seem like a sex in a car kind of girl to me.
No,
She's
you don't.
higher standards than us.
Yeah. Wait, when was the last time you had sex in the car?
Probably like 2008.
Okay.
You know,
I have a really good friend of mine. I won't say her name. She'll fucking kill me. But she was taking another friend of ours to like a little procedure situation. And so she dropped her off, whatever, and had to wait about an hour. And she and her husband have been trying to get pregnant for a really long time. So they're on the really strict, like, I'm ovulating. Like,
Yeah.
we need to have sex in this window, whatever.
yeah.
Her husband had to meet her at the Cedar Sinai parking lot.
they had
Hospital
sex in
parking
the
lot,
car?
and they had to have sex in the car because she was ovulating while she waited for her friend having a
Wait,
procedure.
that, at least that's like makes it sexy.
It is. I was like, well,
Yeah.
you're gonna tell your kid that like he was created in the parking lot of a hospital.
I
That's
love
a
that.
great story.
Because
Isn't it
it's like
great?
so stressful, like trying to get pregnant. Like
Yeah.
at least you like throw some spice in
yeah,
it. Yeah.
mix it up.
Yeah. I love that.
I love it. Okay, first of all, I just want to public service, ladies. We're not swiping right on comedians or people that want to go to go
No.
to open mic nights.
I've been there.
because
done
this
that.
next girl is a comedian as
What
well.
about an improv guy?
no improv.
Oh my God. Groundlings.
Okay.
I would have totally done
Alexa says, I met a guy via Bumble a month after moving to Chicago. He's a comedian here, and after a few months of dating, I went to support him at one of his comedy shows. I went alone, planning to see him after the show. When I got there, I started to sit at a table when a girl a few rows ahead noticed and asked if I wanted to join her since she was also by herself.
Oh, no.
I thought that was so nice, so I sat next to her and we started chatting, only to quickly discover we were both there for the same guy.
Oh,
Idiot.
no.
We had both been dating him for months and had no clue. To this day, I can't believe I stayed for the show.
Must have been a good show.
that. I mean, Chicago has a wonderful comedy
Dude,
scene.
but how good would that crowd work be once he saw both of them sitting next to each other? It would have been iconic.
Wonderful.
But also, this goes back to why are men so dumb?
So dumb.
Like, but then again, is he
But
just,
did he invite both of them, or did one of them show
I'm
up?
sure he just invited one, and then the other one just saw that he had a show or
Yeah,
something.
and was like, I'm going to
or
surprise him.
he's an evil genius, and you know when you're a comedian at the Comedy Store, you have to bring in so many people to,
he
to
was
hit
trying to
your
fill a
thing.
quota.
He had to fill the quota. He had to
He's
fill
like,
the quota.
I really want to break up with Rachel, but I need
she
more
really
people
had
at the show.
She had a head.
Yeah,
She's got a great laugh too, loud.
loud. Because I feel like I actually been thinking about this a lot. There was a guy that I dated in New York, and dated is very loose. Like, was so desperate for love, took the like F train to like the farthest part of Brooklyn to meet up
Oh,
with
I thought
him.
you were
like
saying F train like a F train.
no, not the fuck train.
He F-trained me.
I don't even think the G train. And like when he's like, you need to come to my place. And I was like, you literally are like so. Anyway, I was really, he wore eyeliner. He was in a band. And I just remember going to like a bunch of his shows and then him like being
What
like,
band was he in?
I can't. Like, this is the thing. I don't remember his name. I don't remember what band he's in. But I
Wow.
remember going to a bunch of shows and then him being like, thanks for coming, and then leaving. And I was like, was I the quota? I think I was the quota. Because in New York at like Mercury Lounge or whatever, it was like only fit 25 people.
Yeah.
You had to hit the quota. Yeah. I think I was a quota girl.
Thanks for coming, and then he left.
Like, we didn't hang out after his show.
That's
But you guys had-
insane.
Like you'd had sex?
She went to the F train.
That's what I'm saying.
I think, yeah, maybe.
Or you're just trying to like, you're trying to date
or maybe
him.
a deep makeout at least. I was definitely trying to date him.
Yeah.
Did you bring friends to the show with you?
No. I didn't have friends.
That is so sad.
So sad.
Well, this girl went by herself too, Alexa Matthews.
No,
I know,
but she
but a
thought
comedy
she-
show's different, I think, than like a concert
Okay.
of the guy you're dating. That feels weird.
Yeah. Ooh, this is perfect for you. Here we go. Heaven.
Is that her name?
So
Beautiful.
pretty.
Wow. Okay. I got set up on a blind date with a friend of a friend when I was 19. He picked me up by sitting in his car and honking incessantly until I came out.
Sounds
He
all
took
right.
me to Olive Garden and then to see a movie. Wouldn't stop touching my face and hair and neck and complimenting how young and pretty I looked. Then, when I said no thank you to a second date, he called me a flaky whore. He messaged me a few months later to see if I changed my mind, cussed me out when I said no, and then got arrested for having child pornography on his computer not long after that.
That took a very dark
Wow.
turn.
Well, he kept telling her how young and pretty she was. Heaven.
Wow.
You know what? Don't trust someone that takes you to Olive Garden. When's the last time you've been? So I personally love Olive Garden.
I was just going to say I love
baby.
Olive Garden.
I was like, that part sounded good.
We went with Chris's hockey team like a year ago, and I actually was like, you know what? I love Olive. We went.
It's wonderful.
It's good. And
Yeah.
I
And it
don't know.
is
I
a
was
good
going to say
date.
cheap, but who knows with
It's
inflation.
not. No, it's
No
not.
way.
A pasta's like $26 there.
I actually just found a Cheesecake Factory gift certificate in my drawer, and I am like planning a night where I'm going to actually
Oh
go
my God.
and just go ham at Cheesecake Factory.
Well, you know, the most beautiful Cheesecake Factory is like a 5-minute walk from me and Jared on the marina.
Yeah, what do you call it again?
Pangea.
Yes.
But it's like on the marina, like beautiful patio.
Is it like Killer Shrimp location?
It's right like across from it, like more on the side that we live on. But
I love this.
I love Cheesecake Factory. Their prices are very expensive now.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You got to
no,
go
it's
for happy
expensive.
hour to use that gift certificate.
yeah.
Okay.
Or I'm going to be out of pocket.
Out of pocket, girl.
No, it's like their egg rolls are like $20.
Really?
Yes.
Those are okay.
I mean, but it's worth it.
No, I took my niece and nephew there, and I was like, hold the phone for a second.
No, I'm like, I might as well just go to
you
like
guys,
a nice
it's like
dinner.
my dad when we're kids, like water only.
Yeah.
Like we can't do the 450 soda, you know?
No, we're getting old. Okay, Sarah says, one time I went on a coffee date, his idea, after meeting somebody on Hinge. We stood next to each other while waiting in line, but then he stopped in front of me to order his drink. After telling me he doesn't like coffee, which is weird because it was his idea, he ordered a $3 hot chocolate. When that didn't meet the card minimum, instead of offering to pay for my coffee, he said, I guess I'll get that cookie for my roommate. He then spent the next 15 minutes complaining about how his roommate doesn't even like cookies, and then he threw the cookie out. It was the first time I ever texted my friend and asked for a fake emergency so I could leave early. Wow. The cheapness knows no bounds.
My God.
Why would you?
Do you ever wonder? Sorry, continue.
No.
I just had a.
No, go ahead.
Who do these people marry? Like, who do they end up with? Another person that's that cheap, or a person that it drives them crazy, but they override it,
I think somebody else that cheap.
right?
Or like that doesn't really have an opinion.
That's a reality
But
show
it's not
I
a-
want to
it's not a
watch. Is
cheap-
the world's cheapest couple? I want to watch that.
But not in like a couponing way, but just like getting themselves in situations like this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, well, what would you do?
Or, well, no, I kind of just want to go through their day with them and see like how they really cut corners and like really save money in an extreme
He wasn't even
way.
saving money. He bought the cookie and threw it out.
But he had no other option.
He could have bought her
her
coffee.
coffee.
Right. He's an awful person in general.
And
Yeah.
cheap.
Right.
But he still it's like, it's not that he was like, this, I'll get a water. He literally spent the money just not on her on a date. It's very strange.
Oh, yeah. I guess he could have gotten a water. Would be the cheapest person.
This one is anonymous, and it's called The Crier.
Oh, no.
I went on a date with a man, coffee. We talked for hours, ended up staying at the coffee shop until it closed. Sparks were flying. He kissed me afterwards, and it was like an episode of The Bachelor with fireworks. He told me he was giving me his address if I wanted to come over. I politely declined because I didn't want to smush on the first date. Very Jack Vanek of you. We continued to flirt and send spicy photos. Out of nowhere, maybe 30 minutes after I got home, he got kind of cold. He called me sobbing because he was disappointed I didn't go home with him, and then unpacked all of his childhood trauma until 3 a.m. He never got over it and spent 2 days crying at me before I ended it.
God.
Wow.
Why did she let it go on for 2 days?
That's why she's anonymous, because she's embarrassed.
She's embarrassed.
She's embarrassed.
Did she let it go on, or did he
That's
just like keep
abandonment
calling her?
issues.
He never got over it and spent 2 days crying at me before I ended it.
I
We need
guess-
more information,
He
anonymous.
had
I know.
abandonment issues, you know?
I
Yeah.
know.
Okay.
Sad, but
Oh.
it's the truth. Okay.
2 more. Here we go.
Okay. Alyssa, I met a guy on Plenty of Fish. He asked what I was doing that day, and I said cleaning my aunt's house before she moved. He offered to come help, so I said sure. He showed up and immediately started groping me and trying to make out with me with a fat dip in his mouth.
Ew!
I told him to slow down and that we really needed to clean up. We did, and then my aunt handed him $100 and said, split that between you two. He followed me to the gas station, put $20 in my tank, and then took off on his motorcycle. The next day, his wife texted me saying he was killed in a car accident.
Wait, keep going.
No, there's no way.
There's more.
The wife is just saying that.
I'm sorry. I saw him 3 months later at Walmart.
Yeah. No. What? Wait, there's so much that happened. Okay, groping.
Then took the $100, put $20 in her tank.
Stole
and
$80.
took off.
$80.
Then his wife texted saying he was killed in a car accident. And then she saw him 3 months later at Walmart.
Okay, so I'm assuming he texted her from like another number because he's trying to run some sort of a scam.
Yeah.
Like, so
And
he
he
doesn't
wants-
have to like pay her back.
Yeah. Or did the wife find out?
Wife found the
and
text.
she was like, you know what we're doing? Once and for all, she's going to think you're dead.
Yeah.
I'm texting her that you died.
Well, maybe he's a serial cheater, and this is what she does with all of the ladies.
Yeah.
That is a
And then she saw
hilarious-
him at Walmart.
What if you just what if when Zach and I first started dating each other, I just was so jealous of all the other women in his life, past women,
Yeah.
that I just told them all that he had died.
Right?
I think that's a good move.
So that they stopped reaching out
The
to
old
him.
Zach can't come on the phone right now.
He
Why?
died?
Because he's dead.
Wow.
Wow.
That's
okay,
amazing.
there's another one.
Last one, Jack. Give it to us in a big dramatic voice.
Oh, this one's long. Well, kind of. Okay. Matched with a guy on
Who's it from?
Kendall. Matched with a guy on Hinge. We started talking and agreed to meet up for coffee. There are so many coffee dates. I
That's
never.
what people
you
do
don't
now.
wanna
You don't
commit
do
to
a
a meal.
do dinner now.
Oh, I do. I always would do drinks because I
Yeah.
can't do a sober date. But I love that these people can. I got there before him, so I ordered and waited for him to do the same. The guy orders a black coffee because, this lady doesn't know what an Americano is.
Oh, God.
And we sit down and start talking. He tells me about how many apps he developed and how much money he made from each. He then goes on to tell me that he was on a reality TV show that never aired and how he won and was so great at it. Mind you, the entire time he kept interrupting me whenever I tried to talk and never once asked me a freaking question about me. After an hour that felt like a lifetime, I lied and said I had to go. I thought, okay, that's it. It wasn't a horrible date and I'll never hear from him again. Wrong. After a week of no communication, he texts me and asks me if I want to meet up and watch a football game together. I very politely decline and say I don't feel like a romantic connection, but best of luck. He then texts me, wow, okay, I wasn't asking you out. I was just asking if you wanted to hang out and watch the game. But okay, whatever, LOL. So he had such a fragile ego that he asked her out. She said no, but he was like, well, I wasn't actually asking
It wasn't
you
even
out.
a date.
I just wanted to ask you.
I don't even like you.
I wasn't asking you out. I wanted to ask if you wanted to hang out.
Wow.
That is iconic.
Anyway, I just, ladies of the Facebook group, I just want to give you a round of applause.
Yes, thank you for
Bravo
that.
to you. You've brought the sauce.
Wait, I want to do another one of these if we can get more.
You love it?
Yeah,
love it.
they're really good.
And I really wanted to ask you if you had like an unknown dating story that we haven't heard yet from Jack Vanek that you haven't. I mean, in the books you shared so many. I can't imagine you have any more, and then you always do.
I mean, I don't know if I've talked about it on the podcast. I think I have, about the professional wrestler that I went out with.
Maybe.
Just tell us again. It's
Yeah.
a new era. If you talked about it, it was a long time
I
ago.
don't
Most of those
remember.
people hate us by now.
Yes. True.
Well, I met this. Well, I didn't meet him. I've stalked him on Twitter. He was a professional wrestler. He was very hot to me. And we were like chatting on Twitter, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah,
He
it was a
ends up-
long time ago if you were chatting on Twitter.
Yeah, it was a long time ago. He came to LA and like we went out for a night, went to one of his friends' comedy shows, The Miz. Remember
Oh, The Miz.
No.
Yeah.
He was a wrestler.
Yeah.
He was on Real World, I think, and now
Yeah.
like is doing
He
comedy.
does really well.
Yeah, so we went to go see his comedy show. I mean, nothing like extreme happened except for when we had sex. He
no.
stood up, picked me up, spun me upside down, and then we.
Yeah. Butthole in his face.
No, it was the other side, but it was a.
Like a standing
One of those.
69? Whoa. Also, when I picture this, it's so fun because you're such a gangly queen. Like,
I was probably like,
Beck and I would be like pointed toes. It's like Olympic gymnast.
I'm like dead weight.
Jack's like, like her little
This is
eight and a half
so-
foot is just.
This is upsetting.
It was upsetting, and it
you
was during
naked?
the day.
Ew. Gross.
All right. Well, we weren't here for a long time. We're here for a
Good time.
Good time.